Good afternoon, LEC community. My name is Edgar Palacios. I'm the founder of the Latinx Education Collaborative, and our work is really situated around how do we improve the educational outcomes and experiences of Latino students. Part of our work is to really think about the retention and recruitment of Latino educators, and so I'm excited for today's conversation with an incredible educator who's been a part of our community. I would say since the beginning, or from the very beginning of our existence. So welcome to one of our incredible friends and supporters, Sue Moreno, to the stage. Hey, Sue, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Really happy to be here.
I am so glad that you joined us today. It is a beautiful day outside. It's been part of a beautiful week. Um, and I'm so excited that the snow is nowhere near us at the moment.
Yes, that is over.
Sue, for those of us that may not know you as well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Chicana educator, an artist. I worked teaching art in the Kansas City, Missouri School District for 35 years. I loved it. I'm really always thinking about going back, but I just want to encourage other people to go into that field. I'm also a queer educator and proud to be who I am and what I stand for.
I appreciate you sharing and being here with us. Let's
Thank you.
let's let's go back. So, when do you find out that you love art?
Well, ever since I think because I grew up in my family with always doing activities with my mom, and we were always crafting, making, blowing out eggs and coloring, dyeing them, and making things because we just couldn't afford to go out and buy a lot of those decorations, and so we made them.
Mhm. And this was in Iowa City, or at least in Iowa, correct?
Yes, Davenport, Iowa, and then
Davenport,
I
Iowa.
attended the University of Iowa. Go Hawkeyes!
We were last year. I know we spent some time up there with some incredible Latino educators, and I think your brother as well. If
My
I'm
wonderful brother, Ed.
It was an awesome experience. Um, so it was part of the family. It was also part of necessity, right? You needed decorations. You wanted to create things, and that kind of started your love for art. When do you decide to become an educator?
Well, I think because I was an artist all the way through college and I was a ceramist, I would make bowls and cups, and I just couldn't make a living just being an artist by itself. And so a friend was telling me, you should go into teaching. And I was like, well, and I really love sharing and I love people. So it ended up being a perfect match.
Yeah, a ceramicist.
Yes,
Do you remember?
clay is my favorite medium to work with.
Is it really?
Oh, yes, yes, always has been.
Do you remember the first thing that you created out of clay?
Of course, it was a little at home, my mom would make us, uh, flour and salt, and she'd put a little bit of her rose pomade that was, like, used in her hair in there to make it smell good, and we'd be making pinch bowls.
Okay, very cool. What was your first year of teaching like as an artist educator?
It was like learning how to, ride and drive a Volkswagen 1973 Volkswagen Bug stick shift. Oh my gosh, the teachers, the older teachers were so helpful, but then they were like just would stand there and shake their head. Because of course, when I started, I wanted to change the world, inspire everyone to be creative and to bring out that child within them. And being a child myself, starting at the age of 24,
Yeah.
um, it was a perfect match. Yeah, big kid playing.
what did you learn? I assume that you still want to inspire people to create and inspire people to see the world through the lens of an artist. But what did you learn over your career around inspiration and um, maintaining that going?
I think number one is I learned patience on how creativity has to be something that is uh, visualized inside your mind first by closing your eyes and just imagining and knowing that there is no wrong.
Mm.
That's the beauty of art, especially when it comes to young people. They don't worry as much as adults do about making mistakes.
It's a good lesson to learn, right? That there is no wrong, sometimes it's not a mistake, right? Sometimes it is a learning opportunity, a lesson. Yeah.
Well, in art and education in general, we're always taught that and in society, don't make mistakes. Well, that's the only way you learn is by making mistakes and then giving someone the grace and the time to try it again. I always do every activity 3 times so that they can build that confidence and try those skills and develop that desire of accepting whatever it is that they make.
Mm. Um, how long did it take you to really practice your patience?
Oh, still till today. It has never stopped. It has never stopped, and it's a constant reminder that, we're not all on the same page, we're not all in the same out of the same cloth, or we're some of us are daydreaming while others are planning their play dates or whatever. So it's a life lesson.
Mm. Um, we talk a lot about the importance of representation. Clearly, Latinos are more than one thing, right? We're more than one identity. We transcend race, language, nationality, orientation, all these things. What does representation mean to you? And I assume it's important to you, but why would it be important to you?
It's my number one because if we don't show up and participate, and I'm not talking just show up and be on the bench or in the stands watching. We have to not only show up, but we have to act up and be involved. If whatever form that takes, accepting that it's okay, we can no longer keep those roles of being the good girl, quiet in the back, not being noticed, being invisible.
Yeah,
The wallflowers have to grow and be seen and heard.
yeah. When was the first time that you acted up?
Oh, I think probably when I was, the day I was born, come out scratching. Let me out, let me out. Oh. No, I think, I grew up being extremely, believe it or not, shy and, quiet. In fact, I was put in special ed classes because I didn't talk.
Huh.
They automatically assumed that I, didn't speak English. So they put me in the special ed room, and it looked like, of course, most of the kids in there were brown and black, just like they are now,
Yeah.
and they got extra recess, and they got extra snacks. So I really didn't wanna leave. It I was like, "Oh, this is great,"
The
and
perks are too
then
good.
yeah. So, just observing constantly until they finally, my mom told them, "What? She speaks English? What are because I was always told, "Be good and do what the teacher says."
Right. I'm curious, what students stay with you? I've had a lot of great conversations with teachers across the years, and one thing I always love to hear is about the students that made an impact on them, or students that taught them something about themselves that they may have not known before. Do you have a story like that?
Oh, yes, I see them all the time, and they're adults, and now I'll see them, and they're grown men with beards and, bald heads, and I'm like they're like, "Miss Moreno, don't you remember me from 2nd grade?" And I'm like, "Yeah, But, I remember, definitely some of the, local artists that I taught that became incredible artists
Yeah.
and show their work in Japan, are animators and, inventors of animation in other countries and that still keep in contact with me.
Hmm.
It's amazing. I run into them all the time, and they're just like, "I still have that bowl that we made in 2nd grade. My mom kept it." And I'm like, "Oh my god." But it's just great to see, people utilize the gift of expression and creating in their everyday life.
Yeah. Why ceramics?
Oh, I love getting dirt under my fingernails, rolling in. I like the mess.
Mm,
I love the feel the, clay. I love the idea of manipulating something into a shape or form, and I still to this day, and I tell my students, adult and children, "Let the clay speak to you. It will tell you what you're making because it doesn't always start out and it ends up differently,
mm.
and that's what we want." And they're like, "What?" But they eventually get it. They get it.
Just want to quickly shout out Anastasia Delgado. How are you doing? Um, I've learned more about myself from the kids I've taught than I've ever expected.
Oh, yeah, they taught me more than ever I could imagine. Even, the lingo of what's going on now, the new dances, what things mean and what they don't mean,
Yeah.
and also just, like I said, how to really just ride the wave and enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her. She's such a good teacher. She went over to Kansas City, Kansas. How is that?
She's saying, "Hey, how's your experience, Anastasia?" She'll
You're
let
in
us know here in
Kansas?
the comments momentarily. Um, I'm curious, as you think about all the art that you've created, do you have a favorite piece? Do you have one that stands out? One that you're either really proud of or like that you hated?
Well, I have 2. I did, a series probably, 10 years ago when it was actual, labias, and nobody would let me show my art in the galleries because it was
Mm,
like, "Hey, that's just too." And I said, "No, we all came from this beautiful opening, and it was made out of clay, and I put, like, little photographs inside opening inside there, little people coming out." And it was just too controversial, but I still loved it. I still have it too,
huh.
bring it out and show it again. But, also I made a series of just, mass of all of the different Latino people and the students and the children that I've seen over and over and over again, that expression that we have, those full jowls that we have as Hispanics and the just beautiful skin
Mm,
ranges of skin colors.
yeah. I appreciate you sharing. Anastasia says, Wyandotte is let me go here. Wyandotte is where it's at. Go Bulldogs out
I
there.
I knew she would love high school. They are just a whole breed in itself, and I loved high school. Elementary and high school were my favorite.
Teaching in KCK has been such a blessing for me. I've enjoyed the move to high school and being able to work with the amazing scholars at Wyandotte. Um, I love it. And I think about the connections, right, and the relationships that have been formed and built. So you were part of Expresión, if I'm not mistaken. Um, what did you learn in that program?
You know, it I know this sounds cliche, but it really did change my life.
Hmm.
It gave me the voice that I always had, but it also encouraged me on how to express myself and knowing with the confidence that it doesn't matter what I say because it's my story. It's no one else's can claim that life, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great program. I tell educators all the time when it comes up, you should join because it got me ready too for the moth and
Oh yeah,
NP1.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, I did the same story that I practiced with Expression. And then I also did that with the reality show that I was on, the Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, talking about Womantown. And so it really helped me with more than one thing is confidence.
What did what was like one of your bigger reflections out of your own story? Like, did something surprise you? Was there a story that you hadn't shared before, or a tidbit that you hadn't shared with others prior to the program that you did after the fact?
Oh yes, I feel like I had to step into that space that I call being vulnerable,
Yeah,
and it is so hard to just be the naked chicken out there, especially with roles.
yeah,
Mid roll, middle rolls, back rolls, fat back, chin. But I was willing just to put it out there because I just felt that there's other people that share my same story that I still to this day have not seen. I'm looking for the queer, lesbian, Latinas, and Latinos. Where are we?
have you found them?
No, a few,
Yeah,
and it's just great. But I've been in Kansas City now 40 years, and I'm still when I see little sprinkles like pepper in the crowd there and that, but a lot of us just stay home and party, I guess. I don't know where everybody's at. Where are you? Come out, come out. And I just think it's so important, especially nowadays, to stand up and represent.
yeah. I think one thing that I'm really proud of with our partnership with the Chicano Center for the Arts and Deanna Munoz's work, and of course Ivan Ramirez on the team. They recently hosted a rally for members of the LGBTQIA plus community as well as immigrant community. Clearly, those are two communities that are currently under attack in many different ways, at the federal level, at the state level, at the local level in a lot of ways. And so it's been really inspiring to see the work and to see like all the intersections of those identities, right? And it is communities that are at the margins in a lot of ways, right? And it's been really powerful to see the work that they've done and bringing people together and creating a space of joy. In fact, I just heard a story from one of our colleagues that it's about the community that's built, but like of the safety that's felt, right? And that experience of safety is sometimes not always there for people.
No, not at all. I got to give a shout out to Deanna and Yvonne because I was at that rally on Sunday and it was powerful. It was seeing Manny there and just different people speaking, and people brought their flags. And it's just the support is so necessary just to create like you said, a safety net for our brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Bringing Anastasia back into the space. I loved Expresión. The LEC has really provided me with a place to share my voice. I, like Sue, was a quiet child. I was okay with letting folks speak for me. I've really learned to speak for myself. I appreciate you sharing that. That's powerful testimony
That's
right there.
huge,
Uh,
huge.
and then she goes on to add, listening to Sue during the Expresión event, I felt seen. As a Latina lesbian, I don't see many like me, and hearing her story was so impactful for me.
Thank you, because I just feel the same way when I met you and your partner at the uh, right here at the center, and that it just made my day. It did because I was like, all right, another one. Yay.
Oh, that's awesome. Um, as you, we were joking earlier about being retired, and you were like, "What's retirement?" In
Mhm.
fact, I think you tried to retire and then went back to teach a little bit. Um, what's kept you motivated over the last 30 plus years and going back to the classroom. Typically the data states that Latino teachers are in classrooms no more than 3.5 years on the whole. So what's kept you going for 10 times that amount?
Well, I think, and I can understand why they only last 3 years because there's so many other options available now that don't have to deal with the bureaucratic system of filling out charts and testing and art and and things that are not really measurable, that don't need to be a part of that, that the education that we give is enough for life. And the idea of representation, I think, is number one. I did not have or see a Latino teacher till I was in college. And I kept wondering the same thing. Where are we? I would hang out with the custodians because they were always Hispanic, and the cafeteria staff. I'd go in and help out there just so that I had, somebody to talk to that was really fun, that was accepting and that. But even to this day, I don't see that many. And when I do, they're just looking for a reason to be more seen and appreciated. And that's why your organization is so important, what you do, Edgar.
Yeah, we've learned a lot over the years, and I think that level of appreciation. It's interesting. People dismiss that, right?
Mhm.
People
Mhm.
dismiss the need for appreciation, even for the small gestures, what that can do. I know in conversations with other folks and people who are making decisions on who gets hired or not, you know, we advocate for this idea that it's okay to like love on educators, right? It's okay to show them that you appreciate them. It's okay to make them feel special, right? And like these are the things that I think over time help educators one feel appreciated, but also retain them, right? And systems. And it's just been fascinating to see how many people don't understand that or maybe not care for that, right? It's the simple things that keep people around and um, lessons that we learn as well, as we go along.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to have a brother that's on the school board up in Iowa, and it's mostly a Latino community in West Liberty. And he's going to be moving to Iowa City, and he's going to be running for school board there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am constantly giving him little tips on how to make appreciation to teachers, even by the point of just like gift certificates, or having the businesses give dollars that they can use, if they spend them in the community at these small shops and that. And it's just really, the small things are really appreciated. Like have somebody adopt a classroom. So he's going to be doing that too. And I'm really proud of my brother, Ed.
Yeah. Ed is a cool guy.
Oh, Ed's great.
I appreciated that he drove from West Liberty over to Iowa City. He made the trek and then he sat there and met with us and talked a little bit about the work that he was doing. There was a big celebration last year that was happening. I forget the name of the organization, but they were in their 25th year of service, if I'm not mistaken. And so it was great to connect.
50th. That was our 50th anniversary
50th.
of the Chicano Latino Cultural Center, and I was there.
Yeah,
And I was there 50 years ago too. So all the old heads, the OGs, came back from Chicago and Colorado, and we had a great, from all the way in the 60s. It
yeah,
started there, and now it's gone. They got rid of DEI in Iowa City, all the universities, and so it is really important for us to show up and show out.
yeah. That's disheartening.
Oh, because the cultural center, we were trying to say, it's gone. It's gone. They're going to make it into a parking lot. All the people that had those key positions into the University of Iowa for DEI, gone
Yeah. Wow.
that quickly. So we have to step up that quickly also.
Um, I'm gonna pivot on that because I think that there's like advocacy conversations there. But just quickly, want to welcome Edwin. Good to see you, Edwin. I heard LEC. Thank you, Edgar, and the LEC for your support of Latinx educators over the years. Saludos desde Baltimore. Thanks for joining us. And we have an incredible team who is constantly thinking about how do we continue to support and improve our work as well. So I want to shout them out today. But yeah, I think it's interesting, right? We can do nice things, right? We can support teachers, we can give gift cards, we can celebrate, do awards, and then it's also sometimes not enough, right? Because there's actual legislation, there is actual policies that need to be shifted in order for this to actually work better, right? And I'm really, I'm disheartened is probably not the right word, but and concerned is actually probably not the right word either. I'm just disappointed that we have to continue to prove that DEI is beneficial, that it's worthy, that it's about everyone, right? It's just not black and brown folks and folks that are marginalized that benefit from DEI practices. It is everyone, and that we are seeing what feels quick, right? Overnight dismantling of diversity, equity, inclusion practices and policies and departments. Um, that is frustrating in so many different ways. And so you're absolutely right. It is about lifting up the voice and the advocacy work that comes along with that.
Yeah, I'm downright pissed. I'm just pissed off
Yeah.
because it's like people keep fear is a tactic that's being used now and it's effective, but in the same sense, it makes me dig my heels in more
Yeah.
and care more about my brothers and sisters that are struggling they of because they have a reason to be afraid. And I'm a partner with Northeast High School and Northeast Middle, and I'm really involved. And I'll be going up there this Friday for their Black History program. I go up every week and work with students, and we have wonderful. Oh, the young lady that did the yoga here last week, she works there.
Eva Santiago, of course.
Oh my gosh, she's wonderful. And so it's just really cool to see things come together and be a listening voice or listening ears for a lot of the students' concerns.
Yeah. Um, what do you think is next in terms of for you and then for the community at large?
Well, I think for the community at large is the encouragement of having as many people as possible show up to support. Allies are super important right now. We are important to show up, like I was saying. That's my big motto for 2025: show up and use your voice. But I think what I'm going to be doing specifically is trying to get on to as many organizations as possible to use my voice and to show up at the meetings. And not I've been real hesitant to take key positions, but I'm really really thinking about going into somewhere where the table is bigger, where decisions are being made,
Yeah.
and seeing how I can negotiate that or how I can get that on board. I was really proud to see that you have somebody running for the school board
Yeah,
group.
absolutely.
What's her name?
Trisha McGee is part of our team.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot her name. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You
she is now school board elect, Trisha McGee, because she ran unopposed, uncontested.
Oh, I
So
didn't even know that. That
yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic. Congrats. See, that's what it takes. That's what it takes is to getting people on those committees and boards that can make a difference and can let us keep informed about when to show up and how to show up.
I think it's important to tie that back to Expresión and the work that Luis Ortega has shared with us with Storytellers for Change, that it is in the public narrative, right? It is in that personal storytelling that you become the best advocate, right? Because
Mhm.
people connect to your story, right? One thing that I've noticed and being in Jeff City a couple of times this year already and planning on going a couple more times before the legislative session is over, is that legislators at the state are not necessarily visited all the time. They're not receiving a lot of visits from constituents, right? They are not as personal, or have personal relationships with people that might be different than them. And so I think that it is that power of proximity, that power of storytelling, that to say, hey, like, the policies that you are legislating today are going to have a real life impact on me. And building that proximity, I think, is so important. And so I think that that public narrative, is so critical, and I'm so grateful that Luis has shared
Mm.
those gifts with us, so we can help educators across the board, really develop their stories, right, and to build the confidence so they can share those stories in a public way.
Yeah, it's really important because it's just like nowadays social media, and just like we're doing now is talking online, and that's the way we're communicating nowadays, and it's just real powerful to hear all the bad news, but it's real super important to hear all the good news that we are forming together. We're meeting. There's other organizations, a lot of us all doing similar things that are just empowering.
Yeah. Deanna Munoz just jumped in here. I'm excited to be a part of Expresión.
Oh, she's gonna love it. She's gonna love it.
We're excited to listen to that story as well. And then Anastasia saying, sharing even a piece of my story was so liberating. Did you feel the same way? Did you feel liberated in some way after you had shared your story?
I felt like I had shed 15 pounds.
Wow.
I really did. I felt like I had exposed something that I was really afraid of within myself to share, and I didn't know what kind of backlash I would get, and I just didn't care anymore, that I just knew that there is more of us out there that had similar experiences. In fact, this Saturday, I'm going to be at the Plaza Library. There's high school groups from all over Kansas and Missouri meet, and they have a storytelling group for um, high schools, and they get up there and they practice. And I went last weekend to their workshop, and it's just really cool how important that is. And but I still don't see that representation that I want to see in those groups. So I'm going to have to see about that we can get some more of that involvement in, because
Yeah.
it's powerful.
Yeah. Um, First year teachers, what's your advice to them as they're entering the beginning of their career?
uh, Say yes to everything. Then the second year, say no to the thing that you can't do. Because the first year, you wanna be on every committee, you wanna, work with the students, you wanna work with the parents, get them all up there for their conferences and everything, and you want the other teachers to, like you, and just learn as much as possible, but get a mentor. Get one of those seasoned educators to take you under their wing.
Do you did you have a mentor?
Yes, I did. I had fantastic mentors.
Yeah.
I still keep in contact with them today, and they're in, retirement homes.
Mm. What's the best piece of advice that you got?
I think the best advice that I got is just be myself. I was trying to be like my teachers when I was growing up. I was trying to be like the ones on TV. I was trying to be the comedian and their friend and this and that, and I just had to be myself and be disciplined and, routine.
No.
Routine is the best.
Patience, right? Routine
Patience.
along with patience.
Yes, definitely.
Well, Sue, it has been a pleasure to get to talk to you a little bit today about your experience and, all the gifts that you've brought to not just the profession but to our community. We really appreciate you as a person and who you are. So thank you for being a part of today's conversation.
Thank you. Next time I'm on, we'll have to share stories about my wrestling career.
We got a couple of minutes, so let's end on the wrestling career. Um,
Well, oh my god, it was another one of those vulnerable moments. I grew up on wrestling, watching it with my dad, the all-star wrestling.
yeah.
Andre the Giant was my favorite, and, I just knew that and being from Iowa, I used to train with the wrestlers, being a shot putter, and so when I turned 50, I decided I was going to, go for the Olympics. I tried out, we had a team from Kansas City. Of course, it was the gay Olympics, and I couldn't wait to, wear a singlet. That outfit, that to me was the most important thing is how did I look in that singlet? And so so when I turned 50, I went to Chicago and they were hosting the gay games, the Olympics, and it was phenomenal. And, no one wanted to wrestle at the age of 50 but me. So I know, I was like, "Where" another thing, "Where are we?" Oh,
Right, right, right.
so I did win a medal. And I wrestled for just, oh, I forgot what they call that, but you just, just for show.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
you
An
know,
exhibition.
exhibition, yeah, because I was
Yeah.
looking too cute in my singlet out there and I didn't want it to get wrinkled. That was an experience in itself because there were people from all over the world competing in Chicago for the gay Olympics.
Yeah. Wild.
I got a lot of stories, Edgar, a lot of
Did you
life
did
stories.
you did you train? Like how
Oh, of
often did you train?
course,
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? How often were you trading? Like,
every day.
yeah,
I was lifting weights, I was running, nobody wanted to wrestle me. So, yeah, because, when you ask people, "Can you wanna wrestle?" And guys were like, "Oh god, come on," like that, and I was 50 years old.
yeah.
So,
That
so,
is crazy.
it's but, yeah, I had some move, Edgar.
Do
I'll
you
have to show them to you sometime.
are you full Nelson or just half Nelson?
I can do both. I can do both. Yeah, yeah. I
That is the limit of my wrestling vocabulary as an eighth grader who wrestled for like 2 weeks. So
It's exhausting, isn't it? It's really hard.
it was a wild time. So my first tournament, you might appreciate this. Um I go in, I don't know what I was doing. Like, you're a kid and I wasn't trained to be a wrestler. I just joined the team. And I go into my
Just
first
the
tournament.
singlet.
I wore a singlet for sure. I think that is a true. There's probably a yearbook picture of that somewhere. Um, but I went for my kind of my first move. Right, I attacked, and I fell on the kid, and I broke his leg in two places.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
and that was it for my
Trauma.
wrestling career. So
Yeah, that's traumatic. Oh my gosh. Jeez.
yeah, it was a moment for all of us. So,
I know. Oh, see, we all have those historical stories in our past.
but maybe one day for well, I was gonna say we can wrestle together if you want. I'll
I
put
would
this in.
love that, Edgar. I would
We'll
love
do
that.
an
Getting that
exhibition.
singlet again.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, I appreciate us ending on that note. Sue, thank you so much for who you are and for all that you bring into the world.
I love you. I love what you're doing. Keep it up, man.
Thank you, thank you, and to the
Thanks.
LEC community for joining us. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We will catch you again
Woohoo!
on another edition of Ask an Educator. I hope you all have a great day.